Alright, so this little video is going to just look at some settings and then obviously how to go ahead and actually record the service that takes place. So if we click on settings, it will open up a window that has all the little bits and pieces to do with the streaming settings, the output, in other words the recording, where the file will be saved to. So in this case it's going to be saved to the movies folder on this particular computer. It will also show the quality of those video recordings and all the different bits and pieces and the file formats. The audio, again, we can add different audio inputs, but at this case, audio 2, or in terms of mic auxiliary, is Blackmagic, and again, that's because it's being fed from the ATEM Mini Pro switcher. So that'll be what that is about. And again, you don't really need to be changing anything on these settings as such because they're all kind of sort of being preset already. Okay, so just making aware that if something does need to change because of, for whatever reason, you can go ahead and look at these settings here. But it's advisable not to be changing these, or if they are being changed, that they need to be changed back to what they were before. Alright, so again, just letting you know, we can change the stream, output, audio, and the video in this particular settings window. The other area that we need to look at is the start streaming and start recording. Now, when we click on start recording, if you look at the bottom of the screen here, it shows you that what's being live, what's being recorded, and then the percentage and frame rate of the computer at which it's working. So if we click on start recording, you will see that there's a little pause button over here, and it will say stop recording over there. Now, what's good about this is that if at some point during the service something goes wrong, or you don't need to record everything, we can pause that recording until whatever's taken place, and then we click that button again and it will carry on from that point onwards. So if there are sections, like say for instance things that don't need to be viewed online or via the website, we can actually press that pause button during recording, and then obviously remember to click it again, and we'll record from where we starting again. Okay. You'll notice at the bottom the red little button over here is recording. So we've been recording for 51 seconds so far. And as I said before, if according to the settings, if we click on that, where it's saving it to, so it's saving it to the user Shane Movies browser file. Okay. So if we go to the bottom here and click on Finder, and we click on this little folder here, Movies, that's where it's being recorded. Okay, so that's where it is recording currently, and that's where we'll find the video at the end when we need it. Okay. Right, so I'm just going to click Stop Recording, and what will happen is that it will ask you, do you want to stop recording? Click on yes. Now obviously while it is recording, whatever we change, whenever we click on these presets, it will change, and whatever the change is will be recorded into that video. So again, just make sure that we are paying attention and that we are not having the camera focused in the area that's not on the speaker. So say for instance, if the service lead is up at the lectern, or the podium rather, in this case number 1, that we are changing the camera to that when they are there and anticipating them coming up or speaking through that particular microphone or that particular position on the stage. Okay, so it does require just following a little bit and being attentive to what's going on in terms of the service and whatever else is going on. All right. Something also to note, you can't see it clearly in this example here, but you'll find that the camera, as it repositions to its new sort of angle, there will be a bit of a freeze. It's called a freeze frame, and the reason that we set it up like that is because if we don't, you'll actually see the camera panning and you'll kind of get a bit seasick with the camera moving all over the place. So that freeze frame just stops, the camera captures that freeze frame, repositions itself, and then focuses on where we've angled or positioned the camera and what it's looking at. So if you do see that when there's someone on stage and there's a bit of a lag, don't worry about it. It's there for a purpose, and unfortunately it's a benefit, because otherwise we would just have these quick camera angles moving all over the place, and it can be quite distracting and disorientating. Alright, start streaming. If we click on that, and I'm not going to do that now because it's going to save or record through to the YouTube channel, the Living Water YouTube channel, it will start recording and put a video through to there. Now, again, we just need to go through to the YouTube channel settings, and I'll make another little video for that with the specific settings, how to manage live streams and what to think about and what to consider when we are doing a live stream. It's not more complicated than that we are now. It's just making sure that the settings are correct and that we've set a time and a date for that live stream to go through, and then it will be viewable on the YouTube channel for Living Water. Alright, at this point that's pretty much all we need to know for the different pieces of the software. So as I said before, just as a wrap up, we've got these two pieces of software. The ATEM software control, this is where we can switch between our inputs. As I said before, we've got two inputs, camera 1 and camera 2. Camera 1 is the camera that we've been operating with these settings over here, and then camera 2 is essentially the RMAC with ProPresenter on it. So whatever ProPresenter is feeding out through to the screens, we'll be able to switch to that as well by pushing on this button 2 on the switcher. And that will change, as I said before, as I'm doing now. I'm clicking on button 2 now, and it's showing what's on ProPresenter. I'm just going to go put an image up so you can see. So that's button 2 from ProPresenter. So again, this is an actual image, an actual slide from ProPresenter, and we can actually show whatever's been coming through on ProPresenter, which is really good. And then obviously we can go back to our camera by putting camera 1. And of course, if we've got text up on screen, if we click on this little button, whatever text is showing in ProPresenter will be put into this little blue box at the bottom called the lower thirds, and that will be over whatever image is being seen through the camera. Okay, and then we've got our microphone controls over here. We don't need the volume for the RMAC because we're not picking up any sort of sound through there, so we shouldn't need that unless of course there's a video, but the video will be coming through microphone 2 anyway, so we don't need a double, so we can just keep that turned off, and that we've got the volume set at this point over here in that area there. Alright, so that's OBS and the ATEM Mini software control. That's the basic sort of introductory way of being able to record with OBS, and the different presets of the camera, how to assign a preset, and how to make sure that whatever's coming through from the RMAC is being visible on our camera over here. I hope that was helpful.